Hi everyone, Stefan here from the Little Boat. Just walking back home, having walked to work and then swam and then walking back now I've finished. And I'm off to go and fetch a new bike rack for the bike so I can transport the bike to a ride. Woohoo! Anyway, so I thought I'd record a quick video. Fabulously inspired by Anthony Fitton from Bailey and French. He's the head of consulting for them. Really good guy, really focused on making a difference as well as the organisation. And he's posted today about employees that leave organisations and some of the elements that go into that around expectations perhaps of organisations, and also expectations of our current workforce of what employers should be providing and what you get out of work. And I think it's really important that, you know, in an unguarded sense, I think that broadly we put too much pressure on everyone around us, including ourselves, to provide exactly what it is that we want and we believe we should have. And I think that social media largely drives this sense that, you know, you should be spoken to in a perfect way. You should be encouraged to be your absolute best and yourself in every moment that you can ask for, and you can get exactly what you want. And if employers aren't flexible and provide the hours and the exact working conditions that work for you, then there's something wrong with them. And I'm not saying that shouldn't be the aspiration, and I'm not saying it's not a utopian state to work towards, but I think what it does is it breeds a culture of expectation and like deservance before it's even been earned. And so what do I mean by that? So what I mean is that when I started managing and leading people, I had a boss who was bloody brilliant at it. He had a clear sense of what leaders do and a clear sense of what effective managers do. In his mind, he was able to articulate that. He was able to observe me, to mentor me, to give feedback against that, and to talk about how I was and where I wasn't progressing across the journey as he might have expected, and to ask me questions to be in that place. So I kind of had an acknowledgement that I'd got to work for it. I had an acknowledgement that there were milestones and standards and skills that I needed to be able to embody and show before essentially I got that wonderful seal of approval from somebody that I respected and looked up to. And I was motivated to achieve it. When I achieved it, I knew I'd done something well. I wasn't put off by how long it would take because the prize was so big. But now, people anticipate getting pay rises. People anticipate getting leadership positions and management positions because they might have exhibited an ability to be good in their role rather than in terms of having any ability or aptitude shown to develop beyond what they're doing. And I think that pervades lots of society around cars we expect, houses we expect, holidays we expect. Where's this notion gone of working towards stuff? This notion of committing, this notion of the fact that it's okay to be held to standards. I just feel that the less we hold people to account and the less we get people to strive towards being great, and the more we have this fluffiness around or that creates this given right or expectation, the more we stand to disappoint people. So more people feel that automatically they should be leading. You know, the reality is leading and having a leadership role is like winning a gold medal. How many people out of the billions of people in the world get to win a gold medal? What do they need to do to prove that they deserve the gold medal? How many hours of training? What commitment? What do they do around their diet, their self-reflection, their analysis? Yet the same standard, the gold standard of leadership and management, is expected too soon by organisations, isn't supported and properly developed by organisations, isn't necessarily rewarded and recognised by organisations. And by the same token, we have people wanting to move into those roles, or who have moved into those roles, without a real comprehension of the gift they've been given, the hard work they need to put in, and the standards that they need to meet. Now, in my management or first management role, I was too hard on myself, and you might say that this video is indicative, but I was. But that was because I didn't have somebody helping me to benchmark my current position, my ideal, and where I was on that journey. But in the second position, I made sure I agreed that. And in that second position for an entire year, after every single interaction with every single person, my commitment to be the best leader I could possibly be was to go, what did I do well? What did I do to bring that about? How can I replicate that more often? And then I would go, what could I have done better? What would I like to have happened? How could I have brought that about? And what will I try next time? And that was my commitment for a year, the first year, and I've done it since, but not after every intervention. That was my commitment to the gold standard. That was my commitment to the honour that was given. And I had a boss and a set of managers around me that wanted me to succeed and were open to giving me feedback and coaching around how I could do that and bring me on. I was blessed, but it shouldn't be a case of being blessed. It should be a case of organisations and individuals having that kind of dialogue and that kind of aspiration as a two-way collaboration. Because I think if we were in that position and we had some realism and we also had some proper support, rather than stripping out layers of people that are needed and giving people too wide a span of control, we wouldn't have as many problems with the retention. We wouldn't have as many shortages of skills. And what we wouldn't have is a disenfranchised workforce who feel like they're not valued. Because they would be valued for what they were bringing. They would value themselves. They would recognise the journey they were on, and they would strive every day to be better. But when they switched off at 5 o'clock, yes, ideally 5 o'clock, or whatever time they finish work, they'd be able to switch off and know that the job was still there for them tomorrow, and that tomorrow they would work on it again. Rather than at the moment, consistently work for an ideal that they may never ever achieve, or an ideal that they're not being supported to deliver. So that's my two penneth. We need more realism, we need more support, and we need a greater level of acknowledgement of what goes into being a great employer and a great employee. Thanks, Anthony, for prompting those thoughts. I hope some of them are useful, and most importantly, I thank you for listening. Ta-ta for now.